What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to Blazers Uprise Live here on a Thursday night. It's our final stream, well, official stream before the draft lottery. Tomorrow we're going to have our mock off-season team selection show. That we'll probably just stream on the second channel. But final stream on the main channel, Eric, until the ping pong balls are picked and futures are determined. That'll be on Sunday at noon p.m. Me and Eric just figured out it's indeed 12 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. And we don't know exactly what we're going to do for that, but stay tuned. We're going to have a live stream, of course. So just be ready for that. But today we're going to talk about that. I'm going to preview that a little bit. We're going to talk about the latest coaching rumors. You had Chauncey Billups rumors come out a couple days ago. I dropped a video on it like 15 minutes ago. I finally got it out. So you can watch that video in your free time. Don't click off the stream, though. We got a jam-packed stream for you that you don't want to miss. We're going to talk about the playoffs as two series get tied 1-1, headed back to the lower seed. You have the Cavaliers beating the Celtics, and you have the Mavericks beating the Thunder. We're also going to preview the draft combine a little bit. I want to talk about which measurements I'm looking forward to, as well as tell you guys like what the dates will be for that and when you can expect certain things. Measurements are going to be maybe more important this year than ever. And of course, at the end, we'll try and take a couple questions if we have time. Eric, the lottery's almost here. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I guess I'm kind of anxiously awaiting it, I guess. Yeah. How's everyone in chat? How are you, Tori?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just ready to see where we're at. I got a feeling, I don't know. I got a feeling like we're not going to get the best luck on Sunday, but in this draft, I don't know. I would maybe rather have the 5th or 6th pick than the 3rd pick, given who I would expect them to draft there at 3. I don't know. Really, it's just Sarr or bust for me at this point, Eric. If we don't get Alex Sarr, it's kind of whatever. Of course, you want to pick as high as possible if you're the organization. You always want to control as much of your own destiny as possible, and that means choosing from the biggest player pool possible. But I don't know. I'm not nervous like I was last year. Last year I was extremely nervous because at the end of that rainbow was a pot of gold named Wembanyama. Unfortunately, we didn't get it. Hopefully Scoop pans out. This year, it's not as crucial. The top isn't as good. I really want Sarr, but it doesn't come with the same nerves as last year. Do you feel the same way, Eric? Do you feel the same way, chat?
100%, yeah. I mean, obviously, when they start calling the names, we're going to want to be number 1, but it's not like franchise-altering like it was last year.
Yeah, 100%. This lottery is very, very important, though, in terms of making sure we get that 14th pick, or I could see people rooting for us to lose that pick and it making sense. Next year's draft is deeper, and next year's pick would only be top 1 protected, so you could make a case that it would be better for the Blazers to lose that pick. But 2 lottery picks should see our logo twice on Sunday, which is pretty cool. Scoot's going to be there representing the Blazers. That was announced a couple days ago. So the last time the Blazers had a prized rookie at the lottery, the year after the rookie season, it was Brandon Roy, and the Blazers got the number 1 pick. And, of course, that ended up being Greg Oden. Hopefully the Blazers can get the number 1 pick again, and this time the big man they draft. Hopefully it'd be Sarr. Hopefully not Donovan Clingan at 1. Hopefully the big man they draft pans out. Fingers crossed. But, yeah, gonna have a big old live stream for you guys like we normally do, and I'm looking forward to that. But we had some news, Eric. We had some news drop about our guy, your guy, chat's guy, Chauncey Billups. And I just dropped a video on it, gave my thoughts. I'm curious to hear what you think. Eric, I'm sure you haven't watched the video considering I dropped it right before the stream, so I kind of just want to hear what you think is going on with this, and then I'll tell you what I said in that video. But basically, to summarize, there's a report by Chris Mannix, who works at SI Now, NBC Sports, Boston. Pretty decent-sized name, pretty plugged in, right? Respectful reporter there. And he had a tweet that said, quote, let me find it here. Quote, teams are monitoring Chauncey Billups' situation in Portland. League sources told SI Now the Blazers are rebuilding and just parted ways with 2 assistants, including Billups' brother Rodney. If Billups/Portland split, Billups would quickly emerge as a candidate for other jobs. This tweet was a little bit weird, but I'm not going to give any of my takes on it yet. Eric, I want yours.
Well, there's 2 things at play here. One, I do think there are teams that are interested in Chauncey. I don't know
as what?
As coach.
Head coach.
I don't think that those teams are interested enough to actually hire him. Like the Suns look like they're going to hire someone else, even though Billups was rumored. So he is well respected around the league. So I don't think it's a stretch to say, oh, the players in Phoenix want him as their coach because it came out that they hated Vogel or something happened in the locker room or something, and he lost the locker room. And I don't know, like Budenholzer seems both resume-wise and kind of coaching-wise very similar to Vogel. So I'm sure the players are pushing for someone like Chauncey over Budenholzer. But the main takeaway I had was this is obvious PR. We know that both this organization and Chauncey and all that kind of stuff are very much aware of public perception. And I think this is just an opportunity to maybe show that, oh, this guy's actually wanted, and this guy is coveted by other teams, so we're lucky to have him, type of thing. And I don't know if anyone's buying it. I think a lot of people, if that was the goal, celebrated that he was coveted by other teams versus thought, wow, we're lucky to have him. But I think that was kind of the PR spin, was to, let's kind of pump up the value of this guy. And I mean, if they were going to fire him or were thinking about letting him go, I'd still be shocked if they just outright fired him. I think there's a chance Chauncey could mutually leave and then not accept his contract or guaranteed money. But I think overall, I'd be surprised if he was fired. So this might also be can we get some compensation and then not have to pay him his final year type of thing?
Yeah, so it's just weird because I don't think he's coveted across the league for anything he's done in Portland. I mean, why would he?
Well,
it's he's coveted because he's a guy that players, especially players that have been in the league for over a decade, respect. Because Kevin Durant played against Chauncey Billups. LeBron James played against Chauncey Billups, right? So these guys have a lot of respect for him because while he is an older generation type guy, he does have some overlap with some players, and obviously, like, it's never really been an issue of respect between players and him, like maybe was an issue with Frank Vogel with that Phoenix locker room, or Darvin Ham, right, where LeBron was begging him to give LeBron the clipboard so LeBron could drop a play himself. Like, I got it. There was just weird coaching dynamics there that I don't think would be an issue with Chauncey, but I don't think that's due to his coaching acumen. I don't think that's due to his coaching ability.
Agreed. The thing is, though, Chauncey, I mean, we watch, every game and stuff, and most of the people in chat watch most of the games and have followed Chauncey a lot closer than any other player or other team has over the last 3 years, right? Because, like, if you're Kevin Durant, it's not like you're watching every Blazer game, watching how Chauncey's doing coaching the team, correct? So I think what it is the longer this goes on, the worse Chauncey looks as a coach if he continues to just have these seasons. But I think someone that hasn't been super smart and just goes by, I'm going to do what I want, like Matt Ishbia, like, I think you can convince a guy like that, if you're Chauncey, that none of this was his fault. Like, I know what I'm doing. I tried to implement all these things. We just had no players, and we trade Dame, and then we're all injured and stuff. So I think to other teams, Chauncey can justify it by saying, like, look, I had no chance here in Portland. They pulled the chute all 3 seasons I was coach, wanted me to tank. I know what I'm talking about. I just didn't have a chance to do it here. So we all know that that's kind of BS, but I think Chauncey's charismatic and he knows enough about the game. I mean, we've all heard him talk about all the right things he wants to do. I think he can convince another team or another coach that this situation was not his fault. I think that might be kind of what's at play when other teams are coveting him. Him and his agent are out there spinning his time here as not a negative, you know?
I also think this could be Chauncey wants an extension. And the Blazers are only paying him $2 million. That's not much for a coach.
Right? He's a dead.
And this is the last year of his contract. He has 2 years left, but the final year is a team option. And if they're not going to extend him now, they're not going to pick up that team option. Because what is he going to show you next year when the team sucks again that he hasn't shown you the last 3 years when the team sucks, right? Like, it's just going to be the same year next year. So
and he knows that.
And he knows that. And that's just going to continue to make him look worse as a coach. Continue to bury himself in terms of having a horrible coaching record. And I think this legitimately could be Chauncey wants an extension, and if he doesn't get it, he's not too keen on coming back next year to the same situation he's dealt with for the last 3 years, essentially. Of course, he had Dame and had a winning stretch the second year he was here, right? So now they're officially in rebuild, so it's not exactly the same, but you're going into next year expecting to lose 50-plus games. So could part of this be rumblings about Chauncey wants an extension and the Blazers don't want to give it to him? Because that's basically what I said in my video. Like, I think in that case, there could be some sort of mutually agreeing to part ways and some sort of settlement. But Eric, he's only making $2 million. Like, if he wants an extension and doesn't want to come back, and this organization, doesn't want to give him that extension, maybe they just fire him and need the $2 million, because it's not like that's a ton of money anyway, right? Like, maybe they don't go through the process of, like, trying to even negotiate a settlement. I don't know. But I do have a feeling that part of this is coming from Chauncey, because if you're the Blazers, why wouldn't you want Chauncey back for his final season next year? If you're going the rebuild route and if they actually want to continue to go the rebuild route, right? That's been a question this offseason. Then why wouldn't you want back a coach that's cheap, the young players respect, he at least can be like a point guard mentor for Scoot, who you obviously invested a really high value resource in with the 3rd pick last summer. And then he expires, and then you can go and maybe you get a top pick in the 2025 draft, Cooper Flag, Ace Bailey, whoever. All of a sudden, if you're doing a coaching staff or coaching search next offseason, this job might look a little bit better than it does right now. Because that's also part of the problem with, like, Blazer fans that want Chauncey gone. Is this job appealing enough to get somebody good for the long term for when this team starts winning? Or are you only going to attract coaches that are desperate for a job and aren't good enough for when this organization wants to actually be serious about winning basketball games? Because that would be my biggest worry with the coaching search right now. is you're just going to get a guy that's maybe a retread or just a guy that's not the long-term guy because it's hard to attract him given the position the Blazers are in. So if I'm the Blazers organization, I just want to run it back with Chauncey next year, even if I don't like him as the coach of this team, even if I don't believe in him as the coach of this team or his ability to coach a team in general. As the organization, I would still just want him back for one more year and let his contract run out.
Agreed on that. I think that's why if he's back, he'll be back. The only thing that doesn't make sense to me is, hold on, I thought I was going to sneeze. It's been almost 4 weeks since the season ended. Wouldn't it have started to come out then? But instead they were like, oh no, he's our guy, we're coming back. And I know they kind of had differing philosophies on exit interviews. Chauncey said he wanted to win, and Cronin kind of took a step back from that. But I don't know. It seems weird that it would be like, oh no, Chauncey's for sure coming back. And then several weeks later be like, oh, wait, maybe he's not,
I don't think that's weird. I think part of that could be just Chauncey and his camp. A, seeing what jobs become available. B, seeing if there's interest in Chauncey for those jobs.
Yeah.
And then you get the rumor like other organizations are monitoring Chauncey. Like, if he wasn't confident he could land on his feet in a better situation, then, like, maybe he does run it back here. But if he's confident that, like, he's at least a top candidate for some teams that have better situations for him that would maybe pay him more than the Blazers are paying him, why wouldn't he try and get into those situations? Those are better situations for him. Mm-hmm. And, he doesn't look like a great coach here in Portland. Part of that is his own doing, but part of that is the team freaking sucks, right? Both those things can be true, right? Just because the team sucks doesn't mean that Chauncey is completely clear of all liability for the way the team plays, the sets they run, the schemes they run defensively. So, if he can get in a better situation and thinks he has a chance to get in a better situation, that's why he might risk it now, compared to this happening sooner.
Yeah. Maybe the only thing I can think of is if he asked for permission to talk to like other teams and the Blazers said no or something and he got mad about that.
Yeah, I mean, if they said no, then it might make sense for him to strong-arm them into give me an extension or I want out.
See, if I'm the Blazers, though, I'd be shocked if they just outright fired him and let him go because, there's no reason to do that.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it comes to a settlement if it's a mutually agreed to part ways, right? It's just with how little he's making for a coach, like, how much are they really going to save?
But, like, they've already said they wanted him back next season and all that stuff, so then that looks bad if they then fire him, just add that to the list of things that they're go against what they said a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but what fans are really going to hold them accountable for saying that? Because like we are the platform that would hold him the most accountable for going against his word, and like I don't know, I wouldn't say anything like about that. Like, cool, all right, hire the right coach. That's all I care about.
Like every single one of the Portland media guys has been saying, oh, Billups is going to be back. Billups is going to be back. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's this Chris Mannix tweet, and they're all like, oh, yeah, I've been hearing rumors about Chauncey leaving too. It's just so, I don't know, man. It's just,
yeah.
It seems like this just came out of left field, and it kind of sounds like someone's, like I said, just playing a PR game. And I think you're angling at an extension thing might be just a legitimate reason as any to warrant some sort of public PR battle.
Yeah.
But everything we've heard, though, the front office, Cronin, uh, really respects Chauncey and likes him. All the players like him. I don't know. I'd be surprised if it was anything other than just trying to solve this final year situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If Chauncey's not back, I think part of it would end up having something to do with Chauncey.
Yeah.
And that's why it goes from, yeah, Chauncey's coming back to this, right? And if you're the organization and you've brought in this guy to help lead Dame through a playoff run, and you've just given him tank after tank after tank, of course, after the season, if you want to just bring him back next year as a lame duck head coach for cheap, of course you're going to sit there and say, yeah, we love Chauncey, we want to bring him back, like, because you're trying to, in a way, convince him to stay.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, of course they're going to say that if they want to keep him. So I feel like stuff like this is part of it would be like Chauncey, of course he'd want a better situation. Right? That's just human nature. And maybe this is all just smoke and mirrors and Chauncey wants to stay, but I think it comes down to if there's other interest in Chauncey in better situations, then there is definitely legitimacy to this rumor because human nature, of course, he's going to want a better situation and more pay.
Mm-hmm. But also, I mean, if you go to Chauncey and be like, hey, look, it hasn't been great the last 3 years. I know you're in the last year of your deal, but there's just, I mean, it'd be foolish for us to commit to anything past this year with how these last 3 years went. Let's see how this year goes before that. If you're Chauncey, I mean, you can't. I mean, I know he's probably thinks highly enough of himself to be like, that's crap, it's not my fault, you know, that type of thing. But, I mean, come on, dude. You got to be at least somewhat self-aware that you haven't earned an extension yet, you know?
I mean, yes, but also if there's other interest in him, then there's, like, if there's no other interest in him, then he can't sit there and say, like, much, you know what I mean? Because he has nothing to fall back on. But if he has, like, a better situation to fall back on, then he can easily go to Portland and be like, okay, you like me so much? Put your money where your mouth is. You want to keep me around? All right, keep me around, then. My contract's up next year, so put your money with where your mouth is and give me some security, given the crappy situation you've gotten me. And it's easier for him to go there and say that if he has interest from other teams. And if he has interest in a head coaching spot in other teams, there's a good chance he can land somewhere as an assistant and get another chance down the road. Like, that, I feel like, would embolden him because we haven't heard anything about other teams having interest with Chauncey. And honestly, I didn't expect to be having conversations about, like, maybe Chauncey's gone because another team wants him.
Yeah, well, let me just say this. Unless we fire him and that's like his best option, I do not think Chauncey Billups would leave his current job for an assistant job. I think if that was the best offer he was getting, I think he would just keep his job. I don't think he wants to be an assistant coach.
I think he would keep his job, but, like, is it really that much worse than being a lame duck coach for a terrible team that you're going to add another 50 losses, 60 losses to your record?
Yeah, because he doesn't think he's an assistant. He thinks he's a head coach. And, like, there's a lot of coaches that don't.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's I don't know. Like, we've seen coaches before take a step back. I don't have any examples off the top of my mind, but we've seen a coach take a step back. Maybe.
But those are coaches, like, not former players necessarily that don't necessarily need to be a coach. You know, Chauncey could go back to TV. He could go into a front office somewhere.
But think about it. If he wants a better coaching job, right, long term, would it make more sense for him to stay in Portland and lose another 50 to 60 games this year and then be a free agent coach next year? And who knows if offers are going to come along? Or would it maybe make sense to be like, okay, I might have some interest right now. I want to, if Portland says, I can't talk to teams, I'm going to risk it, right? And ask out so I don't have to deal with that next year, try and get another head coaching job this offseason, and if he can't, maybe there's Charles Lee's job in Boston sitting there waiting for him, where he can go be a lead assistant on Missoula's staff, maybe make close to as much as he's making right now, and then it's Boston Celtics assistant, maybe after they win a freaking championship next postseason. I feel like it would put him in a better spot for teams to look at him and be like, yeah, we want that guy next offseason, if he wants a better job long term.
I don't think that even crosses his mind. I think he thinks he's a good coach, and he doesn't. I think he thinks he's above being an assistant now.
I mean, I think he's smarter than you give him credit for with that, though.
But I just don't think he wants to be an assistant, is what I'm saying. He only wanted to be an assistant to learn how to be a head coach. He got his head coaching job. I don't think he wants to go back to that. I think this is more his name popped up in the Phoenix job, you know. He probably got word that they were firing Vogel ahead of time and that he would be someone they'd be interested in. And so he's thinking of it in terms of teams are interested in me as a head coach, not, oh, I need to go find a better assistant job so I can improve my credibility down the line. I don't think he's even crossing that route.
I mean, it's not just accepting becoming an assistant. It's, I don't know. I'm just speculating. But if there is a chance he could get a head coaching job somewhere else, but he would hypothetically have to ask out from Portland if they're not letting him talk to other teams, then does he take that risk with that as the fallback option, is basically what I'm saying. And as a fallback option, I don't know. Does he really think it's that much worse than the crap that he has had to deal with in Portland? Like, I don't know. I don't know if he thinks it's that much worse. He definitely thinks of himself as a head coach because he is a head coach, and if he's got an interest as a head coach, that's what he thinks about him as. But Portland is probably one of the worst head coaching spots in the league right now, unfortunately. Just because of the rosters they're putting out there, so I don't know. I mean, we can sit here and go back and forth on, like, speculating what he thinks, but we don't truly know.
Yeah, well, see, I don't think he's going to get one of these jobs, though, because outside of maybe Detroit, which I'm still shocked that they fire Monty with how much money they'd have to eat, right? But just being Detroit, outside of that, I don't think he would go, like, leave Portland to go to it, like, before Charlotte hired Lee. I don't think he's taking that job, right? Like, I don't think he's going to be like, oh, yeah, sign me up for another rebuilding situation with a young team,
Charlotte
right?
is like the first spot for a first-time head coach.
Yeah.
Like Charles Lee, right? Mark Daigneault when he got to OKC.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere where you don't have expectations, but they're adding young talent, so they're on the come up. And then if you do what Daigneault's done in OKC, he just won Coach of the Year. And you can experiment with, especially if you're like a more modern coach, a more new school coach, you can experiment with stuff in a rebuilding situation. Like, you can find your footing as a head coach in the league if it's your first head coaching spot by just trying to find your own identity as a coach, right? So, that's a perfect spot for a guy like Charles Lee. That's not the perfect spot for a guy like Chauncey Billups. He's kind of already in that spot and has not been able to find his footing. I just don't know. Like, we've had times in the past where it's like, I've wondered if Chauncey is enjoying this at all, being the head coach of this team. And maybe he completely is, right? I have no idea. But I would understand if he wasn't enjoying being the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, obviously, he's making money, right? He's making $2 million a year. There's definitely some perks, parts of it that he probably enjoys. I have no idea, but I couldn't blame him if he wasn't enamored with his situation here in Portland.
Yeah. So, but that leaves, I mean, maybe the Lakers and now the Suns, right?
Yeah.
I could see him taking both of those jobs over Portland, right?
Yeah, Suns.
Even though I don't know about the Lakers.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure LeBron would want him. I mean, maybe he's the right coach for LeBron. Like, he'll listen to LeBron, and LeBron can kind of be that player coach, and the players will respect him, right? Like, I could see the Lakers having interest in Chauncey for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's the best type of situation for Chauncey, where he has a player who's just a basketball genius who can take charge of some X's and O's stuff. And Chauncey would probably willingly let him.
Is that a good job, though? One, you have to deal with LeBron, and you could be out as soon as you do something.
It's a better job than Portland.
I don't know, man. That team. Oh, I mean, we don't even know if LeBron's going to be on that team next year.
I mean, even if he's not on that team, it's still probably a better job than Portland because they're probably paying him more.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I can't see him being in a worse situation as a head coach. Like, I think, unfortunately, Portland's one of the worst coaching situations in the league. Especially if you're only being paid $2 million. So, that's the thing. You can probably find other similarly bad situations, but if they're willing to pay more, they're willing to pay more. So, I'm really curious to see how the rest of this plays out. Maybe we don't hear another thing on this, but I could see both LeBron and KD wanting him. And right now, the Suns, it's like Budenholzer.
Yeah.
I think it will be Budenholzer, but maybe Kevin Durant goes to Suns brass and says, I want Chauncey Billups. And then what do? Right? Ishbia loves himself some Kevin Durant. That's why they traded a enormous haul for him, right? So that's the only way that it's not Budenholzer, I think, is if KD or Booker or whoever there in Phoenix asks for somebody different. But then that would take ownership, James Jones, etc., actually listening, right? They could still go out and hire their own guy. But considering your locker room apparently quit on your last coach or had issues with your last coach, like, do you want to bring in a guy while the locker room is asking for someone else? I don't know. But
well, that's why I was surprised that that was just reporting it's pretty much locked in on Budenholzer already.
Well, it took a while for them to actually fire Vogel, so I feel like they started to have conversations about Budenholzer before they actually fired Vogel.
Mm-hmm.
So I think some of this played out beforehand because it took, 10 days after they got eliminated?
Yeah.
And you got Flex, like, expect some news on Tuesday or whatever. What was it, Monday or Tuesday? He finally got fired on Thursday. So I assume that the Budenholzer stuff I feel like wouldn't have happened this fast if there wasn't talks before this.
Yeah, obviously. But speaking of Flex, he was saying it was all Billups.
Wow. One time I wish Flex was right. That would have been funny, man. The Suns just want all our former players, coaches, etc. Billups gets to coach Nurk again.
And Eubanks.
And Eubanks again. Oh my goodness. They were just trying to become like us. That's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. I don't understand why the Suns are enamored with trying to become like today's Portland Trailblazers, but like with an old big three. Well, Beal isn't that old. He's kind of declining though. Like, just strange stuff. Strange stuff.
Booker's not old.
Yeah, Booker's not old. The average age of that big three is over 30 though, right? Which makes it on the older side. I don't know. Not as old as the Clippers, because like Kawhi might as well be 50 years old at this point. But
so who's the front runner for the Lakers job right now?
Is there one?
They're gonna hire JJ Redick.
I don't know why they would. I don't know why they would, man. What, they listened to LeBron's and JJ Redick's podcast and were like, we need this in our huddles.
Yeah, cannot player coach LeBron, so have closest thing.
Yeah. I don't understand. AJ, I don't care if you won't tolerate it. It doesn't matter. I hope Flex is right. But then again, Eric, do you really want Chauncey fired now? Like, we're not high on him, But do we really want him fired now?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's like amazing if he gets fired, but I'm not also. Yeah, I've already kind of like dealt with the fact that he was going to be back this year. So like, yeah, it'd be kind of weird if he wasn't.
It's just like, what coach are we gonna get? Are we gonna get someone better with this job in the state that it's in right now? And do we trust this organization to do a good coaching search this offseason? They didn't even do a GM search.
I think it would be it'd be funny that to like be thinking about a coaching search this summer.
I mean, listen. Part of me is like, the more chaos, the better, right? Like, I'm kind of at that point where, like, the non-logical side of me is rooting for chaos. The logical side of me knows that not all chaos is good or fun in the end, right? And the logical side of me says, if Chauncey bounces this offseason, we're going to get a coach that is not the right long-term answer.
Yeah.
And that worries me, because you're going to bring him in on, what, a 3-4 year contract? And then you're going to give him all this runway? Him or her, whoever it is, right? Like...
Plus, we have to... If we're going to tank, and we got to tank right, and we know Chauncey can.
Yeah, it's just there. I don't know if it's the best thing for them. Even if you want Chauncey gone. Why do you guys want Chauncey gone? Because you want a better coach, right? There's no point in replacing Chauncey with another Chauncey if you don't think Chauncey's a good coach. So, I don't know, man. Like, if I saw that, like, the Blazers and Chauncey were mutually parting ways, would I be excited? Kinda, yeah. Like, it'd be interesting to talk about. Yeah, if I didn't have a platform, would I be as excited? No. No. Like, the part of me, the illogical part of me that roots for chaos, part of it is like, yay, we get to talk about stuff on stream. So, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. But a lot of people would be happy if that happened. I know that. 73% still say yes.
Yeah.
Because I did a chat poll. Shout out to J Pope, $5 donation, says, don't want LA expectations to ruin JJ. He's good as a media guy for now. Should be a smaller market coach to get started. Thank you for the donation. I would be bummed if JJ became a head coach, because it would take him out of the media sphere, and I think he's golden. I think he does a really good job covering the sport in a way that other people don't. I don't want more Kendrick Perkins hot takes on a player he watched once over the entire season. I don't want more Stephen A. Smith, who's sitting there before his show, you know, thinking of whatever hot take he can come up with. Has 7 people on his top 5 list of top 5 players, and then just like starts begging Devin Booker and Damian Lillard to come to New York and blah blah blah, right? Like, that's...
Or it talks about how Quentin Grimes has been so good for the Knicks lately when he got traded like a month earlier.
Yeah, like, you're a Knicks fan, man. Come on. Come on, we don't expect you to know who's on every team in the league, right? But you're a Knicks fan. How do you not know you traded Quentin Grimes? Yeah, I mean, that's basically media. NBA media. NFL media does a lot better job of actually, like, knowing the NFL and breaking down the NFL. I've always wished NBA media was like NFL media. JJ Redick is, I feel like, as close as you can get to NFL level media for the NBA. Because he played the game, he knows the game, he's articulate, right? Like, he speaks well, very insightful, and has a relationship with a lot of players, so we can get them in on podcasts, asks really good interview questions, and, like, he's a really good interviewer, because as an interviewer, part of part of your goal obviously is to make whoever you're interviewing feel comfortable, especially if you're just trying to get insight into a player and what makes them tick. And JJ Redick does a really good job of that. So I don't want him as a head coach anywhere.
Well, then on top of that, it looks like the NBA on TNT might be done after the next year, I think it is. So you lose both the insight and then also the best entertainment show on TV. So that would be tough for the NBA media world if they lost all those things at once. But I don't know.
You know what, though? I honestly wouldn't miss Inside the NBA all that much.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I enjoy it. It's funny. I would be excited to see what NBC does. I might miss Inside the NBA more if NBC comes out with something that's like ESPN.
Bro, have you ever listened to ESPN's halftime show?
It's awful. Yes. I mean,
like that's what's going to happen.
No. I'm optimistic NBC can do a better job than that.
I don't know, man. I gotta heavily disagree with that. I mean, it's more entertaining than the actual game sometimes, and that's really tough to.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not that. I don't know. Like, I like them. This is not any shit on the show, but I'm not so entertained that I think they're more entertaining than the game. I mean, Shaq doesn't watch the sport. And then mid-season they always have these random fill-ins that don't fit the show too well. I don't know. I don't want to see them go. I want to see them back, right? But part of me is just curious to see what a new something new like NBC, what that would look like. Especially someone like me, I'm a graphics nerd and, produce our stuff and all of that. There's a curiosity from that standpoint, so I think that's a little bit of it.
Yeah, I mean, I love the NBA on NBC, but
I figured an old head like you would be like, let's go, NBC. You bring back the theme song, all that. I didn't watch
awesome.
Back then, but that theme song still gives me nostalgia somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm
it's not
fine
to say I
with
wouldn't miss them, but I don't know. People are acting like it's the most tragic thing ever, and I'm just not there.
I mean, speaking of nostalgia, I mean that's been on for a long ass time. This is where I think that supersedes any kind of other channel doing something.
Nostalgia for Inside the NBA?
Yeah, if it went away,
Oh, of course. You always want what you can't have. Yeah, 2 years into it, it'd be like, oh, where's Inside the NBA? But I'm sure they could pivot off into something else, right? I don't know. I mean, if I was NBC, I'd be trying to hire all of them. But then it's just the same show.
Well, Ernie has already said he's locked into TNT because he does other stuff for them.
Yeah.
Like baseball and stuff, so he's not going to leave TNT, so it wouldn't be the same without Ernie running the show, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I know eventually that show's going to end anyway, or,
yeah,
one of them retired.
Things change. I'll miss it, but I am curious to see what, NBC would do and how they would cover things. They have what? Sunday Night Football is what they have?
Yeah.
Right? Can they... I don't know. There's just a difference between, the feel of, Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, right? And just, NBA basketball. I don't know. There's something about, the broadcast with Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football that I like that I feel like is missing. And I'm not sure what it is, but that's where I'm a little excited. Okay... Can NBC introduce a broadcast that is refreshing in a way?
Okay, broadcast I'll give you. That's fine. But I don't know. I wish there was still a way to do inside the NBA after the
Oh, for
game.
sure. I mean, I would love like I don't want them to be on like 10 different streaming platforms that you have to buy each one, right? Like that's a disaster. All of a sudden cable cutting is reversed on its head. But it would be cool to, be able to have some NBA on NBC, NBA on Fox, NBA on, CBS.
No, I mean that's
Like,
cool if there's another thing.
Yeah. I would like cuz that's the thing is it gets stale. You got 82 games in a year, and it's the only national games other than NBA TV, I guess, but I don't really count that. The only national games are ESPN and TNT.
Yeah.
Whereas for football, you got like Amazon Prime, you got NBC, you got CBS, you got ABC, like ESPN, right? It's kind of the same thing. So, I don't know. But the thing is, the NFL has national broadcasts for every game, like the MLS has done now, and maybe there's a chance that the NBA would look at something like that in the future, but I don't really like that. How would you feel about that type of model?
I mean, it'd be cool if every game was available like that, but I don't think that's sustainable, or I don't think even
because it wouldn't be like a local broadcast.
These people that are voting on, are trying to bid on the TV packages don't even want that.
NFL is Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
NBA on Nickelodeon.
It's just a second channel.
Every time a shot goes in, there should be slime that bursts out of the hoop. Easy.
Zach said he missed it is inside the NBA going away. So apparently NBC is and Amazon Prime, I guess, are coming way over the top with bids for the new TV deals, and if they are able to get that, it would not be on TNT anymore, and thus the show would go away.
Yeah.
So it just depends on who signs. I don't know if TNT is going to up their offer or they're going to lose it or what.
There's something different about like the picture of Prime sports streams. Like the God, what's the word? I don't even remember. But like the picture quality, it's not like it's lower or higher quality. It's just I don't know what they do. Like there's different channels where if you watch a local broadcast, right, the courts don't look the same way as they do on TNT or on ESPN.
Like in a good way or a bad way?
Like I think like local broadcasts, the courts don't look as good as they do on ESPN or TNT, and I think that's just like color balancing stuff, right? I'm sure it's more complicated than that, right? I don't know that aspect of stuff, but Prime, like if you watch a Prime MLB stream, man, like I enjoy watching MLB on Prime just because like the whatever they're doing with their picture is, I don't know, I like it. So it'd be kind of cool to see NBA on Prime just to see how they put some stuff together because they'll try new stuff on MLB on Prime. Like they do graphics in a different way and stuff.
I thought that was Apple TV that had the baseball game.
Maybe I'm mixing those two up. I thought it was Prime.
I thought it was Apple TV that had the like Friday night game of the week or whatever. I don't know if I've seen baseball on Prime. I might be wrong though.
Maybe I am thinking of Apple TV.
Apple TV has baseball stuff, says Chad.
Oh, I'm thinking of Apple TV then. I swore it was
Prime had the one NFL game.
No, you're right. It is Apple TV. It is Apple TV. Yeah, Apple TV MLB games look different. I don't know what it is. I like their graphics. I like their production.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just where it'd be cool, you know? You have all of these games during the season, right? Like, more nationally televised games on different platforms like that is not a bad thing at all.
Yeah, I've actually enjoyed the TNT games have been on HBO Max. So if you have that streaming service and the app and stuff, I've been able to watch any TNT game mobily, so that's been good.
Yeah. I hope they diversify a little bit. I don't know what the best thing is for their bottom line. I'm just rooting for that as a fan. Because more nationally televised games, but like with a different feel to them, would keep it fresh. Like if you had more nationally televised games and it was just all ESPN, all TNT, like I think that gets a little bit stale. I don't want to see it go away from TNT because of Inside the NBA. I could care less if ESPN loses it because I don't. It's gross. Like their pre-game, halftime, post-game is kind of gross. Their commentators in the game, in-game play-by-play color commentators, I think are okay. I think some of them get a little bit too much hate. I didn't really agree with their decision to let Van Gundy go and replace it with Doris Burke in the capacity they have her in, and who else? Mark Jackson. Or did they let him walk? I don't even remember. I didn't watch many TNT games this year. I don't remember.
I think it was the Game 7 Magic Cavs. They had their studio crew was Malika with Stephen A. and Michael Wilbon. There was no players, like nothing, like so bad.
Yeah.
Just two like kind of hot take guys,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I don't like ESPN in general. I'm not an ESPN fan of the way they cover the NBA, especially so. Anyway, we'll see what comes of that. Let's talk about a little bit of basketball, Eric. You had 2 games today, and they were both interesting. Let's start off with Cavs and Celtics. Eric, you know what's funny is going into this game, I was like, this is the same game where the Celtics at home got beat by double digits against the Heat? And then they waxed them the rest of the series. And I was going into this game like, is this going to be the same exact type of game for the Celtics where it's just that game 2 letdown?
Yeah.
The Celtics end up losing to the Cavs 118-94. But I kind of expected it. I don't know. It felt like if Boston was going to have a letdown game, this was going to be it. They shot 23% from 3, 41% from the field, and did not defend well. And this was one of those good Karis LeVert games. Isaac Okoro was 5 for 6, 1 for 1 from 3. He had a good game. I mean, Mitchell doing his thing, 29 points. Evan Mobley, 21 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, like plus 35 from Mobley. My goodness, man. Like, if Sarr could just be close to what he is, I'll take that, number 1. So just a letdown. Now the Cavs technically have home court advantage, but I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think they're winning both games in Cleveland. If I was a Cavs fan, I'd just be hoping to win one so you can make it a 3-game series starting Game 5.
Hey, they haven't lost a game at home yet this postseason, so...
Yeah, the Cavs? True. They hadn't won a game on the road until this one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone thinks the Cavaliers are going to win this series, but it just, I don't know, because I don't think the Knicks aren't really going to be, I mean, they're a good team, but I don't think it's going to be like, oh, they're going to upset the Celtics either. So, I mean, the tougher the Celtics path is, the better, I think, because it's crazy in the West right now.
Yeah.
And so, I'm just happy these series are 1-1 and it's not all 2-0.
Yeah. Yeah, 100% agree. Looking forward to seeing what Cavs do in Game 3. And then go ahead.
Cavs got players that can get hot, man. Yeah. They can win any game, but Celtics definitely need to play better.
Yeah, for sure. The Cavs bench hasn't. I mean, they are very reliant upon Karis LeVert. Like Karis LeVert had 21 of their 30 bench points. Morris had 4, Niang had 4, Thompson had a single point. Still crazy Tristan Thompson's in the league. And then you have the Mavs being the Thunder, Eric. This series is tied at 1-1. This is going to be a really good series, I think, and the Mavs take care of business today.
Yeah, Luka came out firing. Thunder made it close at the end, but PJ Washington had a great game. Basically won them a playoff game.
Yeah, wild.
Man, I'm so jealous of their big man situations.
Yeah, getting
The Mavericks.
Lively, getting Gafford, getting PJ Washington. That changed the course of their franchise in a way because they were in the lottery last year with Kyrie and Luka. It wasn't looking too good.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have many assets either. I mean, they just got bang for their buck as far as getting those guys.
Yeah, they had like no draft capital to trade. But man, I just keep waiting to see if the Thunder can do what Minnesota appears to be doing, or if it's like a situation where at some point they're going to fall to one of these teams that have a lot more experience. Several of the players on the Mavericks are still on the team from the conference finals run, and of course Kyrie is a past champion. So, how much will that play in as the series go on? I mean, I don't think anyone's really expecting OKC to win it all this year, but I feel like everyone believes this is like the beginning of their run, right?
Yeah. You know what they got to do, though? They got to do one thing if they want a legitimate chance. Do you know what that one thing is, Eric? Can you guess?
Hired Chauncey Billups because I heard Mike Diagonal is just as bad as him.
Did somebody say that?
Well, Aaron Fentress had a tweet about, if you look at Mark Diagonal's first 3 years, he's just as bad as Chauncey or something.
Yeah. Aaron likes to defend coaches. That's his thing. I don't understand how you can sit here and compare Diagonal to Chauncey. But, yeah. No. You know what they got to do? They got to bench Josh Giddey. Did you see the plus minuses from this game?
Yeah. I mean, he sucks.
Yeah. Why is he starting? They only played him 11 minutes. He didn't even play technically, bad. He's just looking at the box score, right? 3 for 6, 0 for 2 from 3. The problem is he can't shoot, so guys can just leave him. And the problem is he's not a good defender. But, he had 8 points on 3 for 6 shooting, made a couple of free throws, got a couple of boards. Minus 20. He does not fit that team. You got all these shooters. You don't need Giddey's playmaking. You don't need his ball handling. You got SGA, you got Jalen Williams, you got Chet. That's your point guard, small forward, center. So I don't understand why they're still starting him. They don't need his skill set. What he struggles with just makes it harder on everybody else on the floor. 3 of their other 4 starters were positive. Chet was a +4. He didn't even have that great of a game. He's 4 for 12. 4 turnovers. But he's a +4. Jalen Williams +1. Lou Dort +1. SGA -6. But I mean, it's SGA. He had 33, 12, and 8. What else can he do? Shot above 50% from the field. And also didn't do it like he normally does. He didn't get to the free throw line 20 times. He was 6 for 6 from the free throw line. That's a low number for him. So they got a bench Giddey. I mean, you got Wiggins who can step in and play. You got Cason Wallace who can step in and defend and knock down a 3. You got Isaiah Joe. Jalen Williams has had a decent couple of games here. They could go big if they wanted to. I don't understand.
Well, he didn't start the second half of this game, so
yeah.
Who
did they start instead of him?
I think they started Isaiah Joe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I mean, just go. You got 5 out. Just go 5 out around Giddey. Lou Dort, 2 for 4 from 3 in this game. Lou Dort has developed into a shooter that you have to respect. He shot 39% from 3 this year. So it's very simple. Very simple. Plus minus is so noisy, like you always say. Absolutely, but I think in this game it actually indicates something. And it indicates they're just a worse team with Josh Giddey on the floor.
He also gets picked on defense.
Yeah, 100%. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him next game. I mean, I just wouldn't play him. You got other guys that fit better and that the team plays better with on the floor. That's the thing about their rebuild. They have all these first-round picks, but they've gotten a lot of good role players for nothing. Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe being the two perfect examples of that. Like, those guys have been so good for them, they trade for Gordon Hayward and don't even play him. You like eating chicken, huh?
Yeah. Someone asked if I like chickens, probably because I have. Yeah, the Hayward trade is weird, man.
Yeah. I mean, they could do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Didn't really, I don't know. They don't play him. They don't play him. It's not something that's going to hurt them. They got so many assets. And he's a veteran. I don't know. Maybe that veteran mentorship is why they got the 1 seed, Eric. Gordon Hayward's veteran mentorship? Do we need that on our team? Yes, we do. Trade Ant for Gordon Hayward. Get more veteran mentorship on this team.
I think it's a free agent.
Oh, sign and trade. I'm just saying all the things that piss you off right now. Oh, man. Anyway. I will rectify it by talking about something that we love to talk about. And chat's been begging us all stream to talk about the lottery. All right, lottery's on Sunday. It looks like 12 p.m. Pacific. Based on multiple
I'm pretty
things.
confident.
Based on Eric's TV guide. Based on a Howard Beck tweet. Based on a tweet by the Houston Rockets.
Based on Keith Smith's tweet. And also Tankathon's timer as done the math by Trevin. So, robot,
job,
check the math. It does line up with their ticker ending at 12 o'clock on Sunday and not at 5:30 or whatever. So...
Yeah, so we'll have a stream, but don't know exactly what that setup's going to be. We'll have more information tomorrow. Eric's going to try setting something up.
If you are interested in attending, if we do it live, just hit us up on Twitter or Discord. We'll obviously post links on both of those as well.
Yep, and... this also means we got to do our final Blazers Uprise Live Tankathon for a while.
Until next season starts.
Yeah, we'll do an official final lottery on Draft Lottery Day. But, yeah, this is going to be the last one on Blazers Uprise Live. Can we get some luck? 14 is Portland. 13 is Sacramento. 12 is OKC. 11 is Chicago. 10 is Atlanta. 9 is Utah moving down a spot, which means who is 9th again?
Is that Brooklyn?
Brooklyn's picked to Houston. At 8 is Toronto via San Antonio. So Brooklyn's pick to Houston moved up, and Memphis moved up. Alrighty, not looking good for the Blazers so far. At 7 is the Charlotte Hornets. The Blazers are top 4. And Detroit gets screwed, and Washington gets screwed. San Antonio gets Toronto's pick at 8, and they also get another top 4 pick like last year. Portland's there. Brooklyn to Houston, and Memphis. Man, could you imagine if it broke this way? The chaos. At 6 is Washington. At 5 is the Detroit Pistons. Get screwed. All right. Now we get into the top 4. You got a couple lower odds teams here, so maybe Portland can get lucky. At 4 is the Memphis Grizzlies. At 3 is the Houston Rockets. Eric, can we finally do it? We've had multiple times recently where we've gotten top 2, but it's always been 2. It comes down to us or San Antonio. Not another first-round pick for San Antonio. Although, if it broke this way, they're a team that might not take Sarr number 1. I don't know. At 2, can we control our own destiny? At 2 is the San Antonio Spurs.
Let's go.
Which means your Portland Trailblazers get the right to draft Zachary Risacher. Just kidding. We're taking Sarr, hopefully. Man, dude, I want Portland to have the number 1 pick so bad just to see if they take Sarr or not. You know? And just all the buzz that would come with that pick in this draft. Ooh, that would be so juicy. Need it for the content. So Portland gets the number 1 pick on the final Tankathon sim of Blazers Uprise Live. Until next November, probably. Although those would be post-game shows instead. You love to see it.
The Blazers take Donovan Clingan. What do you do?
I don't know. I mean, what do you think I do? Chat, what do you think I do if they take Donovan Clingan number 1?
I think you're falling in love with Clingan, so you don't care. But
I'm not, bro. No, stop. Because I don't have this dude at 15 still doesn't mean I'm
No, I'm just No, I mean like every mock draft has him in the top 3 now. But
falling in love with something else. Chat can guess. But chat, yes, how would I react? What would I say? You guys know me better than I know myself, right? So
we are cooked.
We are cooked. Why'd you take Walker Kessler number 1?
Yeah, just replay your reaction from the Chris Murray pick last year, and then that's what.
I mean, I was trying so hard not to like react too harshly. I just sat there staring at the webcam for 15 seconds and then said, Chris Murray? I mean, God, if we took Klingon number 1, that's what Cronin would do to us just to make us look like the negative guys again, you know?
He's a 2-time champion, Tori.
Do it just to spite us. Yeah, we need that championship experience so we get the, not your normal rookie.
Yeah.
2.0.
He'd come and help right away. Yeah. Well, what about Ayton? Well, they can play together, Tori.
Oh, God. Like, try to make me... What about Robert Williams? Well, he can play with them, too. Oops, all centers. We're trying... I mean, listen... When you try and quit an addiction, you don't get addicted to something else, okay? So if we're trying to quit our guard addiction, that does not mean we go and play Klingon with Ayton. And then play like Robert Williams with Wreath off the bench. I mean... But that's part of why I want them to have the number 1 pick. Like, do they do something ridiculous like that? Correct, Connor. That is what we call overcorrecting. You wanted double bigs. I want double bigs that can actually play next to each other. One of them needs to have the potential to shoot threes. One of them needs to be good defending out on the perimeter, have good enough foot speed. Drafting a guy that makes you play DeAndre in like a power forward doesn't make sense. Blazer fans would love it, though. There's a lot of Blazer fans out there that would convince themselves, like, that's an amazing draft pick at number 1.
All right, would you be more mad with Ricochet than Klingon? Which one's pissing you off more?
You know what? I This is a weird answer. I would rather them take Klingon than Ricochet, but I could understand them taking Ricochet number 1 more than I could understand them taking Klingon number 1.
Right.
I mean, unless they trade Aiton. Listen, if they take Klingon number 1 and then they trade Aiton and can actually get back like some value for him, could that be the worst thing? I don't know. Like, maybe Klingon locks down the paint and is the next Rudy Gobert for years to come. Like, I don't know. I'd be pissed at both. The Ricochet pick to me, though, Eric, would just feel like the organization, instead of just doing their own, like, they do their own scouting and all that type of stuff. I'm not trying to say they don't, but it would feel like them kind of buying into consensus a little bit, in a way, because this dude has just not played well, and he is not an off-the-dribble creator. You're drafting a three-point shooter whose three-point shot has fallen off the cliff, wasn't really known as a three-point shooter before this year, shoots sub 70% from the free throw line, and doesn't have, like, any off-the-dribble juice. You're going to take that guy number 1? Why? The thing is like, consensus is starting to come around to, like, yeah, he's not a top 5 prospect. But if they took him number 1, I don't know.
If we got the number 1 pick and we're going to take Klingon, I would much rather, I don't know if this would be on the table or not, but I'd much rather trade with Utah back to 8 and get Walker Kessler.
Yeah.
and 8. And then they can go up to 1 and take whoever they want to get. But
I think he's a little more agile than Walker Kessler. I think Klingon will be better than Walker Kessler, but yeah.
Well, he's a little bigger.
Yeah.
But it makes up space a little faster. But I think Kessler's quicker though.
Yeah. Yeah. I just no Klingon at 1. If we fall to 5, if we fall out of the top 4, I won't be pissed at Klingon at this point. But
I want to say something. How could I phrase this? That particular lottery sim we just had,
yeah.
would possibly lead to a big Blazer move.
What's that?
I can't say anything more.
You can't. What? You can't do that.
Sorry. This would open up if a certain team isn't near the top. Yeah.
Chat, are you as annoyed as I am?
Sorry. I shouldn't even have said that. I want you guys to get.
Second. Why does my internet do the things it does? See if it gets picked up or not.
Oh, we're back, and then it ended. Oh.
You said the stream ended?
Did for me.
Not on my end. No, we're back. Stream's still here. You wish it ended so you could take the heat off you for this pump fake. Blazers Uprise brought to you in 360p. I think we're good. Yeah, so you guys know who we're trading for in this scenario? Or did you not
just told you all.
Yeah, we just told you, you know. Yeah. There's like, just imagine a bunch of like strings like pointing towards these like draft picks, you know. But then there's like a face on the board as well. And we told you who, but apparently you guys didn't hear. Apparently you guys weren't paying attention. It definitely wasn't the lag. We definitely told you. Eric's like a 2K player who's lagging, who pump fakes at the 3-point line, and then you turn around and he's already dunking. I don't know. I think we draft with number 1.
Yeah.
I am not buying.
Oh, that wasn't what I was saying.
Trade it. Well, you said this scenario, so I assume it's us getting number 1, correct?
Nope. It's another team not getting number 1.
What? All right. Chat, I'll be reaching out to my sources. We need to have completely different sources that say completely different stuff so we can just sit here arguing about our sources. People would love that, right? Source Wars.
What's up, Clutchison?
Clutchison, you missed the big Brant bomb. Anyway, let's move on. Draft Combine starts on Sunday as well. Draft Combine, Google says May 12th to 19th. I don't know when measurements will take place. It's already announced all the players. All of the players are supposed to measure this year. That's a rule now. So if we get measurements in on the first couple of days, we can talk about it Monday night. Monday night on Blazers Uprise Live. Hopefully we can talk about some measurements. That's going to change our big boards. And maybe we do a big board stream on Thursday, or maybe another mock draft. I don't know. Like, we'll definitely do some draft stuff. Maybe we'll do big boards on Monday, though, if we get all measurements and change everything. But Draft Combine starts on Sunday, same day as Draft Lottery. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing how tall Ron Holland is, Eric. That's a big one, right?
Is that your number 1?
No, Alex Sarr's my number 1.
No, I mean like your number 1 measurement guy.
Oh, I mean, I have a feeling he's like 6'6", maybe 6'6.5" without shoes. So not really. I'd say Jalen Tyson is my number 1 measurement guy. Jameer Watkins, like my sleepers that I like. I'm just hoping that they're big enough to play the 3. Both those guys.
House.
I mean, I think Jameer Watkins, even if he's a little shorter, is good, like, plays physically enough to play the 3. Castle's another one, yeah, for sure. And
your boy Tyron Grant Foster will be there.
Nice. Good. Deserved it. A guy like Connect, is he really 6'6"? That's going to be a big one. Like Klingon, I don't really care. He's tall.
What about Bronny James?
He's gonna be there, really? That's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't 6'2". Deron Holmes measured last year, so that's not a guy. Devin Carter. I'm really curious to see if he's like legitimately 6'3". Devin Carter, I've moved into my lottery.
Yeah.
The back end of my lottery, but just watching the Wolves, the way they defend, I think teams are going to want that. And I think, the Wolves are kind of a kink in the trend. You know what I mean? It's
I think he's been in my late lottery for a while.
Has he? I don't remember him ever being in your late lottery. But like to move him into my late lottery, I had to move out Salon.
There's some buzz that McCain could go top 10.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that. I've been seeing people that have him top 10. I feel like it's a little too rich, but I think maybe he has more creation point guard skills than he showed at Duke, playing next to Proctor, playing next to Jeremy Roach. So maybe he's a guy that should be held in higher regard because of what he wasn't allowed to show too much. You know what I mean? I don't know. Because he can definitely shoot and he can play some defense, and he's very solid.
I definitely want to see Salon's measurements as well.
Yeah.
Shay's measurements.
Yeah. Keyshawn George is another guy. Dottie, is he 6'9"? Like, I don't think he's 6'9". Did Chauncey get invited?
Yeah, he's there.
Could you imagine the rant right now if Chauncey didn't get invited? Yeah, I'm curious to see how tall he is.
Well, it's only 78 players, I think, so not everyone. Did you see a Dembona apparently in a workout had a 48.5-inch vertical?
Cap. There ain't no way.
I mean, I'm just telling you what a team said.
There ain't no way, bro. If he had a 48-inch vertical, that's enough for me to like move him into the back end of my first round.
Yeah, that's insane for. I know he's like
guy?
super
Like,
undersized.
What, is he just going to be the next Ben Wallace? I mean, a Dembona should probably be higher. He's just not a flashy player, but I could see him easily being a role player in the league, just defensive big, at least off the bench. I have him like 55th right now, but I didn't put much thought into it. He should probably be top 40. I was thinking that even before you said that. Trenton Flowers should probably be top 40 as well. That's one of my like deeper sleepers that I like. I have him, I don't know, like 44 right now, but he's somebody to watch for sure, especially pre-draft workouts. Like, I think he'll end up going top 40. He's athletic and can make shots. Like, in 6'7", 6'8", whatever he measures at, that's intriguing to teams, and I think a team will take a chance on that before, like, Harrison Ingram type, before maybe a guy like Hunter Salas, which I think teams are going to underrate Hunter Salas before a guy like Tristan Newton, you know what I mean? Like, I have a feeling Trent Flowers is going to be a sneaky name to watch. But yeah, excited to actually get measurements because it feels like we can finally, like, legitimately solidify something with big boards, but always subject to change, Eric.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway,
tomorrow, mock off season team selection stream on our second channel. Even if you're not in it, you can hang out with us. If you are in it, check your Discord messages. We had to deny like 8-9 people, so apologies if you didn't get in. It was nothing personal at all. It's just, you know, when you have 12 people that want 3 spots, like, you know, what can we do, right? So.
Also, if you are one of those people, keep kind of follow along with the stuff because every year there's someone that has to bow out or isn't active, so we end up having to find someone to replace them. So,
yeah,
I mean, I hope that doesn't happen.
I think we got a good crop this year. But yeah, tomorrow, if you're in the mock off season and you can't be there to pick your team, send me a list 1 to 30 of the teams that you want to be. If you maybe don't have a ton of time to dedicate it to it, you can let me know if you want like a low activity team. We rank teams based on different like things such as like how active you need to be to run them, how hard they're going to be to run, like what their team status is. So that'll be a part of the selection. But yeah, if you can't make it, then tomorrow and you're in the mock off season, you gotta send me a list 1 to 30. If not, you'll just be last. You'll get like the last pick of teams. So
Yeah.
I sent out a message to everybody basically, other than a couple people, like one person I think that wasn't. I don't know what their Discord name is.
And that's probably strike 1 and strike 2 for you're on thin ice on
Yeah.
participating further if you don't, because right off the bat, if you're already becoming an issue.
Yeah, I mean it's a little shorter notice than we like to have given, but we had less time before the lottery, so it's a little sooner anyway. But yeah, anyway, gonna do a draft lottery preview this weekend. Off-season storylines video. I'm gonna try and do in the next couple of days before the lottery, and then lottery stuff. And we're gonna ramp up the videos after the lottery 100%. And I'm gonna try and get out like a few more player reviews because I've done a lot of work for some. They're just gonna be kind of random, like I said. I need to dive back into those. And is there anything else you want to get into, Eric?
No, appreciate everyone. Once again, if you are interested in possibly meeting up, if we do a meetup on Sunday for the lottery at noon, please hit me or Tori up on Discord, and we'll let you know whether we're doing that or not. Also, look for an announcement on both the Blazers Uprise Twitter, Tori and my Twitter, and on Discord as well.
Yep. Looking forward to the lottery on Sunday. Make sure you tune in for that stream. Should be a fun one. And with that being said, we're out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And I'm looking forward to this off season. And we're out of here. Until next time, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.